Blessed day everyone. God nudged you to click on this video because this is for you. It's not just the dream but the messages behind the dream. So the dream was my brother was in a very narrow elevator. I got in with him in that elevator and I was urging my assistant to come with us, and she was so afraid, so I hugged her and told her it's gonna be okay and not to be afraid. And then suddenly the elevator, when she came, when I hugged her, the elevator then suddenly went down to the very bottom, and it was so fast. I was even a little bit afraid, but I was comforting her that everything will be okay. And so, and then when we reached the bottom, the elevator, it's weird, of course. I know it's weird because it's a dream. Um, the elevator turned into a train. And then we reached this new place, which was very peaceful. There were rolling hills. There were cottages or houses. There were beautiful flowers. It's just a beautiful place. Beautiful, peaceful place. So, this dream has a very peaceful and encouraging spiritual progression. So, the meaning of this dream is this dream has a very peaceful and encouraging spiritual progression. If you view dreams through a Christian spiritual lens, I would interpret it less as a prediction and more as a picture of moving through fear and uncertainty into a new season that God may be leading you toward. Very nice. The very narrow elevator. An elevator can symbolize transition. Again, transition, guys. Movement. Finally. Or a change in your level or season of life. Change. This is a good change. Okay, so finally it's moving. I love it because I've been like, sometimes I feel like I'm stuck. I hope you resonate with this. Maybe someone will resonate with this. The fact that it was very narrow may represent feeling that your options are limited or that you're entering something unfamiliar and uncomfortable. Yet you still got in. I really feel this, guys. Like, God, give me opportunities. What are my options? Am I in the right path? Like, I always ask that. Maybe God is already, you know, maybe God's ear is like tired of listening to me asking that. Sometimes I limit myself from doing that because that's only telling that I'm very impatient again. So your brother being there could represent family, familiarity, or support while you go through this transition. Your assistant being afraid, this part is especially meaningful. You know, I love my assistant. She's very reliable and she's very kind. She's introvert like me, so we get along well. You were urging her to come in, and although she was frightened, she eventually trusted enough to enter. Then you hugged her and told her not to be afraid. Spiritually, she could represent an actual person, but she could also symbolize a part of yourself, the part that is hesitant about stepping into something new. Actually, guys, this is both. For me, I don't know for you, maybe you're resonating with this. I actually have an actual assistant that I'm always assisting also when it comes to manifestations, to life's journeys. You know, I've been there, done that. And she's young. She's just 21. So I try as much as possible to assist her and give her advice if she would take it. And also, this is also a part of me that is hesitant into stepping something new. Like I told you already that my life right now is so uncertain. Um, if you have been watching my videos, you know that I'm in the in between and the crossroads. So it could be scary. So this is also me. stepping into the new. But I always try to convince myself that there is a good future ahead of me, because I'm done with the hard part already. I'm done with the trials and the monkey mind and all that. I did the inner work. I did the shadow work. I did inner child healing. I did money wounds, father wounds, mother wounds, etc. All of these past 1.5 years is just about working on myself and making myself better. I hope someone will resonate with this. Notice the reversal. You weren't the one needing reassurance. You were giving reassurance. You were the one giving. So that can symbolize growing into a position of faith, courage, leadership, and trust. Going down extremely fast. I was really afraid because I'm afraid of heights. So I was like, even in the dream, I was feeling the elevator going really fast. Going downward can initially sound negative, but the rest of the dream strongly changes that interpretation. You weren't trapped or harmed. You went all the way to the bottom, and then something completely unexpected happened. Oh my god, I can relate this to a reading by Shea Pila. And like, you went to the very bottom, you went to hell and got something good from it and shared it to the world. Something like that. This could represent being willing to go through an uncomfortable or uncertain process rather than trying to control every step. Yeah. Yeah, I think being in an uncomfortable situation teaches you more than you being always in a comfortable situation. I don't, even if the shower is so cold, I don't make it warm because I want to be comfortable in uncomfortable situations. It trains your brain. So that's how I do it, to train my brain to be comfortable in uncomfortable situations. It reminds me of the spiritual idea. Sometimes what feels like going down is actually taking you somewhere you couldn't have reached from where you were. Similar to what I just said. The elevator becoming a train. This is one of the most beautiful symbols in your dream. An elevator is confined and moves along a narrow vertical path. A train, however, travels forward through a landscape. So symbolically, the dream moves from confinement to movement to exploration and to a new landscape. It's almost as though once you pass through frightening transition, which I am now in, and maybe you are too, your perspective expanded. You weren't just going somewhere. You were able to see where you were going. The beautiful place, the rolling hills, cottages, beautiful views, peacefulness, and feeling of familiarity are particularly significant. You so I said that in my dream it felt entirely new, simultaneously strangely familiar and homey. That combination can symbolize a new season that initially looks unfamiliar but somehow feels aligned with who you are. Spiritually, you might interpret it as what is ahead may be unfamiliar, but it doesn't necessarily mean it is wrong. It may eventually feel like home. Guys, when I started this YouTube channel, I was very apprehensive. I don't know, I was even a bit anxious. I had a little bit of anxiety. But when I started doing it, I started doing it unprepared, but I knew I had to do it. Now it feels like home. Like I'm just my authentic self. I'm not trying to be AI perfect. I'm not perfect. I know I have so many mistakes here, but as long as I get the message across, it's okay. So, and importantly, your emotional response was awe and peace and not fear. The strongest message I see taken as a whole, the dream seems to tell a story. You enter something narrow and frightening. You encourage someone else not to be afraid. You descend rapidly through uncertainty. You reach the bottom. Then the environment transforms. Suddenly, you're traveling through a beautiful landscape you have never seen before, but somehow recognize and you feel peace. Given the spiritual themes you've been exploring, I would take this as an encouraging image about trusting God through transition rather than assuming that an uncomfortable beginning means a bad ending. So, again, guys, we are being called to trust God. It also has an interesting connection to your earlier concerns about stepping into a new chapter or calling. While wondering whether it will provide security, the dream doesn't necessarily mean this specific thing will happen. Rather, its emotional message seems to be: don't let fear about the unfamiliar prevent you from entering the next part of your journey. You may discover that destination is more peaceful and fitting than you imagined. Okay, so like this, me using or doing a YouTube channel, it's I'm really comfortable with it and I'm really enjoying it. It's tiresome, yes, it is. It can be tiresome. I don't even feel that tired, unlike the 9 to 5. And I also enjoy it. But I was afraid before. And there's one detail I especially like. You didn't arrive at a chaotic or threatening place. You arrived somewhere beautiful, peaceful, expansive, and homey. From a Christian perspective, I would hold the dream prayerfully rather than treating every symbol as a guaranteed divine message. You can ask God for confirmation through peace, wisdom, scripture, circumstances, and practical discernment. Of course, we should always ask those from God. I always ask for discernment and wisdom rather than relying on a dream alone. Although dreams can be signs also for us and also can be encouraging. So, to summarize this spiritual message, do not be afraid of the unfamiliar descent. Trust the journey because what looks like a narrow transition may open into a beautiful new landscape. So, guys, we never know what is in store in our future. We should always be hopeful and positively aligned to what is in our path. So, this is the message of the long dream and the long interpretation and sign of the dream. May God bless you with good health, wealth, and abundance in your life as you go forward. Thank you for watching.